Hey there, welcome to another episode of Legends with Elroy. I'm excited to tell you another story about Billy Bob the Knight. Now this story starts as Billy Bob, who is taking a little rest. What was that? So Billy Bob made his way over to the door, and he opened it, and there before him was Peter the polar bear. And Peter said, "Hey Billy Bob, how ya doing?" Billy Bob said, "Oh, I'm doing pretty well. Kinda wish I was sleeping, but, you know." And Peter was like, Yeah, I understand. There's a whole time of the year that I just sleep. It's a good time of the year. But right now it's not that time of year. So anyways, I'm awake and I'm ready to go. Did you hear, Billy Bob, that there is a circus in town?" And Billy Bob said, "A circus?" He said, "Yes. Well, a circus. It's a kind of circus. It's really more like a one-man show. Except for it's not a man. It's apparently a moose. So it's like a one-moose show. You know moose. They have the antlers and... Anyways, it's gonna be pretty cool from everything that I've heard." Billy Bob was like, "Oh, that does sound pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. Do you mind if I join you, Peter?" And Peter said, "That sounds just fine." So they made their way to the circus, which incidentally was not too far away. It was in just an open field. And when they got there were a lot of people there. Porky was there. He had all this food. He had cake and chocolate milk and more cake, scones, gingerbread. Anyways, he had a lot of food. I don't have time to go through it all. And there was Stanley, and Barry the brown bear had a little kiosk where he was selling bone broth. Barry the brown bear's bone broth. It's very good. But there were even other people there too. And it was a lot of fun. But everybody was really worried because the one-man moose, or the one-moose show, I don't know how you say that, he was nowhere to be seen. And Billy Bob said, "Well, where is this guy?" And they said, "We don't know. You see, we got here and he was gone." And Billy Bob said, "Let me go check and see what's going on. Maybe I can track him down and find him." So he walked out back and he saw hoof prints. Peter was with him too, by the way. And they walked along for a little bit until they came to this big clump of bushes. And by big, I mean it was like 10 feet tall. And Billy Bob said, "Is someone in there?" And a voice came back and said, "No." And Billy Bob said, "Wait a second, someone is in there." And he said, "Come out right now." And out stepped a massive moose. And the moose said, "My name is Maurice." And Billy Bob said, "Maurice? Well, what are you doing out here? My name's Billy Bob, and I've come to see you perform. Why aren't you out there?" And the moose looked very sad. And he said, "Well, you see, the thing is, I'm a moose, and I love performing at the circus, but one of my acts just hasn't been going well. You see, ever since I was a little moose, I always dreamed of being the best trapeze artist out there, being able to hang on to those things and swing around like a gymnast. But then I grew, and then I grew, and then I grew, and then I grew. And I'm very, very tall, and it's very hard to be a good trapeze artist when you are this tall. And I don't know, the last couple times I tried it, it just hasn't worked out too well. Especially when I did the tightrope rock." Billy Bob said, "What happened?" He said, the rope broke." Billy Bob was like, "Oh, that is pretty bad. Well, why don't we see if we can help you out? When you're on the trapeze, what's the issue? He said, well, I'm too tall, so when I grab on, I'm still on the ground. And Billy Bob said, that's not a very tall trapeze. Well, anyways, we'll help you out. So he and Peter went back to the circus with Maurice. And they started working. Also, Benny the Beaver was there, so he helped them out too. He helped them by chopping with his teeth. And they were able to make a new and improved circus. It had a really nice tightrope that went way up, and it was very, very thick rope. Not too thick to where it was, not fair for him walking on it, but it was reinforced so that it wouldn't break. And the little swinging thing for the trapeze was high enough that he wouldn't still be on the ground. So it became time, and everybody was excited. And Billy Bob said, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to see the most amazing one moose show you have ever imagined? And in the front row, Porky was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. These cookies are so good. I love cookies. Oh, Porky. And Billy Bob said, step out, Maurice. And Maurice stepped out. And he looked awesome. He was wearing a cape. If you haven't seen a moose wearing a cape, it's quite cool. And you may not ever actually see it if you haven't seen it, because it's very unlikely that you'll see that in the wild. But then again, maybe in your parts of the world, mooses wear capes more often. They just don't in mine. I digress. And Maurice stepped out, and there he was, magnificent looking. He was so cool, and he did the tightrope walk like a champion, and it didn't break. He also did the swinging around like a champion. He was like doing flips and all kinds of stuff. It was insane. And then for the final thing, they were going to have him be flung by a catapult. And they said, a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and Billy Bob hit the thing, and Maurice just went flying in the air. But then the cape flew out, and he flew back to everybody. It was pretty crazy. It was kind of like a flying squirrel. I think the cape was actually meant to help him glide. The thing about moose is people don't understand just how talented they are. They look at them and they're like, oh, they have thin legs and they're big and everything else like that, and be careful because they can touch you. But they're actually quite creative as well as very athletic. So, anyways, Maurice completed his final act, and it was amazing. It was pretty cool. So, after that, Maurice went on his way because he had to perform somewhere else. But he thanked everybody because they had helped him get his confidence back. And Billy Bob said goodbye to Peter and Porky and Barry the Brown Bear and his other friends such as Stanley, and he went home. And it was now time to take a bath. And splish splash, I was taking a bath. All about a Saturday night. A rubba dubba. Someone's at the door. But that, my friends, is a story for another day. Well, I'll see you guys in the next episode of Legends with Elroy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.